Hello, we are getting started. I'm making sure we've got all of the text set up for today. This is our first business Q&A. So I'm pretty excited about this. We had a few people submit some questions yesterday, and we're going to be getting to those questions. Now, if you have questions while we're talking, or you want to double up on some of those questions, maybe one question spurs another thought, another question, feel free to type that below. Now, at any point, if you're watching the replay or we're towards the end and I don't get to your question, please type that in the chat and we will get to it next week when we do the next Q&A. I'm really excited to host this for you. I've owned my own business for quite a while. So I started my first business in 2013. So it's been a while now. It's been over 10 years. And I've also grown up in businesses. So I've watched a variety. Now, within my own business, I have worked with several companies in a variation of industries. So I feel pretty confident on being able to answer these questions for you. However, if you're watching this and you are an expert in these areas, feel free to drop your answers below too. And if you don't agree with me, type it down below. Let's get the conversation going. So I would love for this show, this Q&A business style to grow. We can bring on our experts and we can get people in here to answer your questions as well. We can dive in further. So my goal here is to support you, the business owner, the entrepreneur, so that you feel like you have a resource, something to come to, someone who can support you and answer those questions, because let's be honest, Google isn't necessarily the best option. ChatGPT can allow us to get a more detailed response and can search Google for us. And beyond that, ChatGPT doesn't always understand each industry and doesn't have the experience in working with the businesses themselves, because like for me, I don't go and put all of my experiences on the internet. That you will only get from talking to me. So by having a real person who's been in this world, you can take what I say and you can compare it to ChatGPT if you really want to. All right, let's get started and addressing some of these questions that we have. I don't know if I mentioned I have my own business, and I've mentioned that I've worked with several companies, but where did that come from? I do have an MBA. And before I did my MBA, several years before that, I did a business entrepreneurship program at a community college and was actually awarded a full scholarship to that program based on my business plan. Then went on to start my business, and worked in corporate. As I worked in corporate, I was doing wellness, and that grew into me continuing my practice to become a therapist. And as I become a therapist, I then went and got my MBA to continue working with businesses. So just letting you know the credibility. The first question is systems. What are some systems that business owners need to run their business? I love this question because it is so crucial that business owners know how to get leads, and you need to have a consistent flow of leads coming in. Now, this is the biggest thing that I think a lot of business owners get stuck on in the beginning is if you get a lead, that's a 50%, maybe even a 10% chance of converting that lead. So having that sales process in place. Now, the reason I say this is because if you are a solopreneur, one person doing it all, or maybe even two people, you're going to need automations put in place. But we have to test these things out, and we have to have a system that can support that automation. So if you are running ads and you're going to collect people's information, that would be some type of landing page that would go to a CRM. A CRM is the point I'm getting to. A CRM is a customer relationship management system. This is a place where all of the people you've talked to or need to talk to or want to talk to you that you've had some type of contact with, it is in there. For example, If you've ever gone to the doctor's office and they pull up their computer and they're typing in the notes and they're like, oh, yeah, how's your dog Sammy doing? They didn't remember that. They have a CRM style system where they can keep track of notes, of little information about you. Now, this is important because larger companies use this. I worked for a very, very, very large company at one point, and this was critical as they had many, many sales teams and people were coming in and out of those sales teams. They needed all of that information there. So as one person quit and another person came in, that information was there. Now, not only is that important for bigger teams, but this is also important for you as the individual because you need to know who you've talked to, who's a cold lead, who's a warm lead, who has purchased from you before, and having that information there. So a CRM is extremely important. If you're hearing that, type that in the chat. A CRM is extremely important. Now, having some type of system like a CRM or an all-in-one is really, really great. And you might see this out there. It's called Go High Level. Now, Go High Level system, you can also, I think it's like $400 or $500 a month. Agencies can white label it, meaning they can brand it all to their own. I really love Go High Level, and I have Go High Level. I'm happy to offer you an extreme discount. Just put Go High Level or Go in the chat, and I'll get you the link for that. And you can try it out for a couple days and see what you think. So it allows you to create the landing pages to capture the information. It puts it in the CRM. Then it has a pipeline. The pipeline allows them to automatically be triggered to be they're cold, no one's talked to them. They're warm, someone has talked to them, they've purchased, and then you get to create those stages for you to go in there and be a sales team. Now, I like it too because if you're paying for Calendly, it has all those aspects. So if someone schedules an appointment with you, they'll automatically go into your CRM. And having that is old school, having a whole team. So it creates a team for you. So I think that is an invaluable thing to have. Most of these systems like that, Go High Level, white labeled Go High Level, those typically run around $97 a month. So you need to make sure that you have all of this process lined out before you get in there. Now, to go set all of that up, I'm going to recommend that you have someone set it up for you. Are there easier ways than something like that? Yes. I love Lead Pages. It puts them into a spreadsheet, and then you can do the rest of it manually. Lead Pages, I think, is around $300 to $400 a year as well. So these are going to cost money. That's why I highly recommend you iron out what your processes are, then get the system to save you time and energy. Because as a business owner, you need lots and lots of leads coming in, and you need a process to convert them. Your goal should be to have employees or contractors. All right, let's go on to the next question. All right, the next question is, what are 3 to 5 advanced steps to prepare to leave your 9 to 5 and become full-time in your business? Now, I did a live about this not too long ago. There is definitely a book, and I do not have it right next to me, but I'll post it down below in the comments after we get off here today, that talks about some really great steps in what to do. But let's talk about it today. 3 to 5 advanced steps. As I just mentioned, having that funnel of like how you're going to get leads and how you're going to convert them is extremely important. You do not want to leave your 9 to 5 until you have that process ironed out. I also really recommend to have your side business, your business, making almost or just as much as your 9 to 5, so that when you go full time in it, it is going to go beyond that. Why? Because you have to pay taxes. You will probably need to buy your own insurance. There are going to be other expenses. So to keep in mind that the money that your business is making needs to be far, far greater. And I normally say 50% more. So if you are like, I need $2,000 a month to pay my bills, great. Your business needs to be making 4,000 so that it can pay you the 2,000. And then once you get to that level, I say to take it down to 30% is what you need to be making, and then the business needs to be making more. So let's come back to this. 3 to 5 advanced steps. So first is getting the income. 2, and you can type this in the chat for me. I would love it if you do. So 1 is make sure that your income is matching your other income, so that when you go full time, the goal is to get it way, way more. That's the income. 2 is to make sure that you have a process. Because just because you quit your 9 to 5 and go all in doesn't mean that the process is suddenly going to make it happen. That process needs to be ironed out before you quit your 9 to 5. Because if you've been leaving it to chance, that means it's to chance. So 2 is your process. 3, I would highly recommend that you get your first contractor. And normally we don't have our first employee, but we can get a contractor. You can get a virtual assistant to help you. That could be a virtual assistant, an in-person assistant, contractor, something of that sort. A business that is then going to pay you, you will be an employee of your business, needs to have a second employee so that you can say, here is our process. I need you to fill this area. And an employee, a VA, and contractor, they should be making more for your business than what they cost. And how that can even out is that person can be freeing up your time so that you can go do more, make more, because you're probably going to be the biggest income of your business. I say probably, that's not always the case. But if you are really good at, let's say, and I'm just randomly throwing something out there, if you are a crocheter and you love your business, you know exactly who you need to go make these connections with to supply these crocheted hats to an organization, then you have to ask yourself, to crochet this hat, am I the unique factor? And hopefully not. Hopefully you could teach someone else to make that unique hat. Now, if fear comes in going, I don't want them to know my specific design, then they need to sign an NDA, meaning that that is your proprietary information. You might have it patented, well, probably not patented at that point, but trademarked or something of the sort. You would be more valuable spending your time making the connections if you're also good at that. That would bring in more money. You could get multiple people making hats, and then you could sell all of those hats. So creating a style. Now, if you are, let's say, for example, something I've done in the past, if you have a learning program that you are teaching, get that copy marked, get that trademarked, then you would teach other people how to facilitate that. You also can facilitate it, but you might have 1 or 2 other people that can facilitate it as well. They have an NDA, that's trademarked. They can't use that anywhere. Now, in reality, could they? Of course. But you're going to brand your business and how your business does things and all the processes. I hope you're hearing that word, processes, and systems, that it's making you unique. Because let's be honest, there are a lot of businesses, a lot of coaches, a lot of offers out there that I could go duplicate very, very easily. But it takes time, it takes mindset, it is a ton of trial and error to go do that. And one person can only do so many things. And there are lots of businesses that do very similar things. So don't let yourself get caught up in the mindset. Just go full force in your mission and have it done. And that would be that other thing I would really, really recommend, is having a mission, having other companies that you can go connect with and collaborate with, that you don't have to do this alone. And how can you unite yourself with other businesses that have similar messages and missions, or are supporting your message and mission? Um, if you wanted to, I've got a new little microphone. If you wanted to um, hire someone who is results based, you could hire someone that is going to make the connections for you or help you get grants or help you do these things, and having a clear outcome of what that person will do for you and KPIs so that you can measure the results and say, hey, I'm paying for you and I'm not getting the money back. Like, this isn't working out. But if you know that ahead of time, going like, okay, this is what I'm going to need. This is what I'm going to need by this date. Can you deliver on this? Yes or no? Having those clear statements of what you'll be working on and what the goal is extremely important as well. So, yeah, I'm not going to say save save a normal 6 months of expenses, but you should know that what your expenses are, and there should be income coming in. Because if you could manage your business within 10 hours a week, and let's be honest, most of us that do have a side hustle, it is 10 to 20 hours per week. And you should be able to manage your business in 10 to 20 hours per week. Anything beyond that, you need to hire someone to do that. I do not recommend going in as a business owner, working 80 hours a week, and you're so entirely busy that you don't even have the time to stop and pause and hire employees or hire contractors or do anything outside of that. You will literally gridlock yourself in, and your business will not be able to grow beyond that. So, get your business where you can manage it within 10 to 20 hours per week. And as a business owner, like, your goal is freedom. So many business owners, I see this, they come into owning a business and then they end up working far more for far less with their business. And then they get burnt out and their business crumbles or they get sick and it dies. I would say that's probably the biggest reason, aside from marketing, that businesses fail. All right, let's move on. And I'm going to adjust real quick, check my settings. All right, so we do have, okay, making sure this new microphone is working. You all let me know. All right, I've got two screens going, so if you see me looking over. All right, networking is the next question. So I've heard networking events are all about people meeting and finding out what you can do for them. Is that true? So I hosted a training a while back and it will be launching, I would say, in about 6 months or so. And it's called Authentic Networking. And it's about co-creating success together. So when you go into networking and anytime you promote your business, from an elevator pitch to a business pitch, you should be saying what you can do for them. Yes. Yes. Because how would they know how they can work with you if you're not telling them how they can work with you? So telling them what you can do for them, how it is going to benefit their life. That is just marketing in general. So as networking and within sales, it is your job to go in and find out who you're talking to and tell them how you might be able to work together, who your target audience is, and how you're making an impact in the world. Those things register to people's mind because everyone is going in saying, what's in it for me? Everyone is going in, what's in it for me? They will not remember you if there is not some connection to what's in it for me or what's in it for someone I know. Now, I'm not saying every single person is like that. Good networkers are listening to say, how can I connect this person with someone else in my network? But most people aren't great networkers. I hate to say that, but it really is true. Most people are going in and they're just wanting business. And they're like, here's my card. I need a sale. I need a sale. I need a sale. So in order to stop and get their attention, what's in it for them is a great way to approach that. How are they going to remember you? So, first of all, telling them exactly who you've worked with before. And I don't mean like the company's name, although you could name drop if that works. But you could say, like, hey, I've worked with Sherwin-Williams. I've worked with the federal government. I've worked with many projects where I've helped them in communicating to their team and managing their project management. And looking at what are the gaps of where we're at and what are those big problems that I'm identifying and that need to be fixed. So I can say from that of like who I've worked with, or I could say, have you ever wished you could? And thinking about the bigger problem beyond what you do. For me to come in and say I'm a business consultant, that's vague, right? Like that doesn't tell them how I work with them. But to say like I analyze the gaps. Have you ever found that like you want a result, but there's just like something like a glass ceiling that's blocking you? That's because so many of us become blind to our own problems. That's one of the things that I come in with an extra specialty of knowing the subconscious mind and knowing how the brain works while also looking at neuroscience and overall capacity, and I'm making this up on the whim, overall capacity of how a business can function. I know the overall business strategy and the key foundation needs need to be there. I also love problem solving. Now, that allows me to start a bigger conversation. But if I ask the other person to tell me about them first, I could probably create a scenario. And allowing myself to be bold and confident, I cannot even tell you how important that is. If you come in and you're like, well, um, I've worked in change management before, and I help companies, with their change. And if I approach it that way, they're going to be like, okay. But if I go, have you ever sent out an email and no one did what you said? Half the emails didn't even get opened? Or do 50% or less of your employees even know what the mission is of your company? So to start out with an example so that it can open up into a conversation. In networking, just pitching and getting a sale in that room is not the overall goal. It's to build a network of a group of people where you can refer and support each other to make those vital connections. So for me, I was talking to someone in the chats and the DMs yesterday, and we were talking about seeing like if we could be a referral base for each other because she works with people on their relationships, whether it's a personal relationship or a business relationship, like how people work on relationships. And if she's having these deep conversations with people, there might be a relationship issue within a business or within how they're communicating to their clients. I could be a great resource for her. And that's how we could connect and collaborate in that way. So thinking beyond of just my business and thinking more about how can we carry on a mission? How can we work together to spread the mission of what your business is? Now, a secondary question that came with this one was also, where can I find networking events outside of Eventbrite and Facebook groups? Now, if you're looking for virtual, those are definitely places to look. If you're looking for in-person events, I would recommend checking your local chambers. Nearly everyone has a local chamber or some type of like here it is GLI. It's a government-based advocacy group where they're going and they're helping with business policies. I would recommend to get involved with those groups. Now, also nationwide for us women, there's NAWBO, National Association of Women Business Owners. You can connect with those and just allow yourself to look at where there are other groups. As a business owner, you need groups and communities. So thinking about what community can you join where you can get involved in a regular networking group. Regularly networking is important because that allows people to see your face over and over, and you can train them on how to promote you. You get to train them on how to promote you. And also by seeing someone consistently, you're building trust and consistency. Those are extremely important. So I do recommend to have local networking groups where you can meet up with people. Toastmasters is a really great way for people that like to speak, and check and do some research and have those on your radar. I have on my calendar. Uh, I think at least once a month, maybe it's every other week. And I have the links in the notes on the calendar of all the different places. And I go and check and see what networking events are happening. Business First is another one. I see what networking events are going on. I put those on my calendar. I see what can I attend each month. And having a regular networking, regularly doing networking is extremely important. And the more people see you, this is what I love to teach the visible method, how you constantly put yourself out there in different ways so people can see you, therefore find you, therefore work with you. All right. All right. Let's see what the next question is. So, assistance, having a VA. If you have a VA that's skilled in multiple areas, what are the things that you would have them do in your business to help you grow? First, making activities. That is what I teach. Making activities come first. If there is a streamlined process that doesn't require much thinking, but also give them any of those tasks, routine things that need to be done. They can also be checking in with current clients, past clients, and doing those follow-ups. So those are key things that I would recommend. You want to make sure that your VA or assistant is paying for themselves. Therefore, it's alleviating time from you to do money-making activities, or it is money-making activities, which be things that ensure repeat clients, that ensure things are just being taken care of, or routine things within our businesses, or there should be routine things in businesses we could have someone else do. Make sure it's something that they do well, but there is also an area of handing tasks off to them, so that wouldn't take as much training. I would recommend, again, going back to the first thing, first question we answered is having a process of getting leads, nurturing those leads, converting those leads, keeping customers, or getting repeat customers. These are key areas within, and then there's also just delivering whatever it is that you deliver, whether it's a service or a product. So something within there that is going to alleviate time from you, or it's going to make money itself. All right. So this is our business Q&A session. If you do have additional questions, please drop those below. We will get to them next week. And let me know if this is helpful, if there's an area of business, because sometimes I totally understand. I've been a college professor myself. People don't always know what questions to ask. So if it's like, hey, I am in this industry and I'm struggling with this, what can I do? So feel free to have those broader questions as well. I hope to see you next week. I'm Izzy Nally, and this is the Business Q&A. If you haven't yet joined the Business Growth Lab on Facebook, we'll also be creating a LinkedIn group as well soon. So we hope to see you there. Come introduce yourself. Feel free to make an introductory post and tell us about you. Give us some fun info about you, your hobbies, and tell us about your business or what you're creating. All right. Bye.